Hey fellow beaders, it's JP and I have another great tutorial for you. This one is going to be a two-parter. I am going to do, in part one, I'll show you how to make this pendant. In part two, I'm actually going to show you how to do a spiral rope and attach it to the pendant. I've had a couple subscribers ask me to show them how to do a spiral rope tutorial. And I had a subscriber ask me to show her how to attach a pendant to, figure out a way to attach it to a necklace, basically. So I'm going to cover both of those needs of the subscribers in basically a couple of videos. But this pendant is very three-dimensional. I've got my little domed pearl here. I've got these points coming out at an angle. And let me show you the back. It's quite nice, actually. I finished it really well. I'm actually very proud of this piece. And back to the front, it's got 6 points. Material-wise, what you're going to need is a 12mm bead. I'm using a jumbo glass pearl here. You are going to need 11 O-seed beads, 15 O-seed beads. You're going to need 4D superduos, I'm sorry, I can't talk, 40 superduos, and 18 rondelle beads. So, or 3x4 rondelles, that is. And you can use bicones instead if you have those. But adding the crystal adds just a nice bling factor to it. As you can see, as I move it back and forth, it sparkles a lot. Anyway, I hope you guys will enjoy this tutorial. So let's get started with the beading. To begin our pendant design, first thing you're going to do is string 4 11O beads and bring them all the way down to the bottom. You're going to leave a short tail about 2 to 3 inches, and you're going to go back around the beads and make a circle. So go through the beads one more time. We're not going to tie any knots, which is why I'm having you go through them again, so we can secure our little circle. And this is what you get. You get a nice little right angle weave unit. And you are going to make 12 of these. And then we are going to bezel those around the pearl that I have sitting here. So pick up 3 more, and since the thread is in the downward direction, you're going to go in from the top and add another unit. Just like that. And then you have to get over to this bead all the way on the left, and so you're going to go through the bottom bead and then the left bead. And so now you have 2 units of raw, or I wonder if it would be called law since I'm doing this from the left hand. Anyway, would that be left angle weave? I don't know. Okay, so here is 3 more, and since this is now exiting, thread is coming out on the top, we're going to go in from the bottom. So, and that's unit number 3. We have to add 9 more. So now you're going to go through the top bead to get to our left bead. Our goal is to always get to the left bead in order to add more units. And like before, the thread is now coming out of this bead from the bottom. So we're going to add 3 more, and we're going to go in the bottom direction. So we're going to go in from the top and go down. Pull our thread down, and there we are. Now get back, we have to get over to this left bead again. So you're going to go through this bottom bead and then up into that left bead. So I've got 4. I'm going to show you guys this one more time, and then I'm going to go ahead and have you continue to add, continue adding units until you get to 12 units. So this is coming out from the top, so we are going to go in from the bottom and go up. Okay, there we are. So I've got 7 more units to make. So go ahead and continue, and then I will show you how to add this to the pearl. All right, so I've got my 12 units made, and I've zoomed in so you guys can see better. Now what you're going to do is you want to make sure that you're coming out of the outermost left bead, or if you're right-handed, your outermost right bead. And like I am here, and I'm going to go through my pearl. And you're going to find that this is going to sit up a little bit, and that's okay. That'll fix itself in just a minute here. What you're going to do is rotate the pearl. You want to keep the bead here as close to the hole as possible, and then just slowly rotate the pearl until you get to the other side. And the other thing you're going to do is you're counting units. So over here, this is unit 1, this is unit 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 5, and this is number 6. Now I know that unit number 6 is going to sit above the other hole of the pearl. So as you rotate, so as you can see, this is unit number 6, and there's my bead that's sitting above the hole. This bead is going to be the one. So what you want to do is just you want to go through that bead and pull slowly, take your time, and get that as close to the hole as possible, just like that. Now just hold your work and you're going to turn, and you want to make sure that this hasn't moved away from the hole, because it'll do that. So you want to just get that back in position, and then so let's see, I'm going to hold that in place with my fingers, and I'm going to kind of pull on the thread, and I'm going to go down into the hole. So we came in through this way, you go down to the hole to the opposite way, and try not to stab yourself. You come out here. Okay, so you're coming out, and the bead has slid down a little bit, but that's okay, don't worry. So now what you want to do is consider which direction the thread went into the hole. So the thread is coming out of the bead here, and it went into the hole this way. So you want to go back into this bead from this side, and that's what's going to anchor the bead to the hole. Just like this. See, now that you pull tight, it's now right above the hole. And this one also, the one that's anchored here on this side, is also right above the hole. Okay, now the next step is to connect our two sides together. So what you're going to do is just very carefully make sure there's not twisted, is bring this up. And it's not going to want to stay, and that's okay. That's the challenge, that it's just going to want to slide around. So you want to just get it as close to this bead as possible. You're going to pick up one bead, 111, and so you're coming out of the threads coming out in this direction. You're going to go into the bead in this direction, like that, and then you're going to pick up another bead, and you're going to go back through our anchor bead here. just like that. So now we've got our ends closed, and you want to go back through all these beads again. And reinforce. Just like this. So this is all set. Now what we're going to do, and you want to pay attention to which direction you're going into the hole, because we're going to go into the hole, and so you're going to go down into the hole, and we're going to just tighten this up once more. Like that. Then grab this bead here. That's your anchor bead. And then go back in from the opposite side. Now, I know that when I went down into the hole, okay, so I'm coming out of the hole. Now I know that when I went down from this direction here. And so I just want to come back up and then go through this bead again from this direction. And so now you've secured the whole thing around the pearl. In this next part, it's still going to feel a little loose and it's still going to be shifting, and that's okay. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to tighten that up, and then it will continue to feel a lot stronger around the pearl as we continue. Alright, so in this next step, what we're going to do is we are going to tighten up our beads. And so you'll be coming out of one of these anchor beads here. And so my thread is coming out of this bead right here. So I'm just going to go up one bead and just to the left or to the right, depending on your preference. And now what I'm going to do is actually pick up a bead, but I'm going to move my crystals here out of the way because I'm just working with the 11 O's. I'm going to pick up a bead, and I'm just going to go up into the next bead. Just like that. And you'll start to tighten this up as you go. So pick up another bead and go up. My thread is caught. Wow, it wrapped around several items. I don't even know how I did that. Anyway, so pick up a bead and go up into the next, just the one bead. So you want to start to pull tight, pick up a bead, go into the next one. It's not going to be really noticeable until you get all the way around. Pick up one, and we're going into the next one. Pick up another one, going into the next one. Pick up a bead, go into the next one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. Pick up a bead. And we're almost done with one side. So I'm just going to finish up this side with you guys, and then I will show you how to get to the other side, and then you guys can do the other side on your own. Pick up a bead and go up. Pick up a bead. Two more. Pick up a bead. The last one for this side. So here's where we started, and this is the bead we added when we started. So you just want to go into this first bead. And definitely pull tight, and you'll see that it's gotten snug on this side. So this is the side that's all been finished, and this side is still going to be a little loose, and you can see it's separated from the pearl. Okay, so to get to the other side, so you're coming out of this bead, and you just want to go into this bead over here. It's right next to it, part of the right angle weave unit. Then turn, and then you're getting in position to start adding more beads. So go up into this bead here. Just like that. Then pick up a bead and you go through the bead above it, and you're in position. So go ahead and go all the way around, and I will show you the next step. I'm about to add my last bead. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go into your next bead here, and you're going to go up into the first bead on that you were adding. So you're going up 2 beads. And you'll notice now it's nice and tight and evenly around the pearl. So this is the way I like to do the right angle weave bezel. Or people do it a little bit differently depending on the designer, but this is my technique. And so for our next step, you're going to have to pull out your superduos and your 15-0s. What you're going to do is pick up one 15-0, pick up a superduo, and then pick up another 15-0. And what you're going to do is you're going to go across. So you're coming out of this bead here. You are going to go across into this bead right here. And this will have your superduo kind of standing straight up, and it's actually going to be sitting inside your units here. So it's going to sit right in here in these little units. And now you're set up for the next one. So to do the next one, you're gonna go diagonally across. So the next one that you're gonna go into is this bead. So the beads that you're going into are the beads that we added as we were going around. You're not gonna go into any of the beads that are part of the original right angle unit, like this one here. So again, pick up a 15-0, a superduo, and then another 15-0, and you're going across into this bead here. So your superduo is going to stand up, and you'll get this little V here with the 15-0, the 11-0, and the 15-0. Now I'm using 15-0s that match exactly. They're the same color, but you can, you obviously in terms of color, you can use whatever you want. And I just like the way they look, so, and I had them. So to keep going, so pick up a 15-0, superduo, and a 15-0. Just moving the tail there. So here is where I'm exiting. So to go diagonally across, this is the bead that you want to go into. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you to do, just so it doesn't get confusing for you, is to count out 12 superduos before you start, because you're putting only 12. As part of the design, that's very important at this step. So count them out, and once they're done, then you're finished and you won't have extra superduos and so forth. So 15-0, superduo, 15-0. Here's where we're exiting. So diagonally across would be this bead right here. Just like that. Okay, so I just wanted to turn it just to kind of keep going. And again, 15, superduo, 15. Here's where we are, and diagonally across is right here. $15, a superduo, 15. Here's our exit point, so diagonally across is right there. So you really want to make sure these superduos are tight and not loose. And so go ahead and pull tight. 15, superduo, 15. Here's where we are. So diagonally across is right here. Like so. And then 15, superduo, 15. Here's our diagonal across. And so this is what it's going to look like. It may seem kind of weird to you, but you'll see it come together in just a little bit. So again, I'm going to pick up 15, superduo 15, and I'm going to go diagonally across, and so my bead is going to be this one here. $15, superduo 15, and we're here. $15, superduo 15, and we are here. Oops, I'm picking up two. There, just the one. And you should be in your last one, so 15, superduo 15, and there we are, right there. So there you have it. Now this gap is going to seem very big, but it's actually going to fix itself in just a second when we start the next step. So, okay, fellow beaders, so to start our next step, we are exiting out of this bead, and we need to get into the top hole of our superduo over here. And you're going to go up 2 beads, pull that tight, so make sure this one is tight, and then go up into the 15-0 and then the superduo. So you're in the bottom hole of that superduo. And all you're going to do is then go into the top hole of this same superduo. And then you are going to take a 15-0, a rondelle, and a 15-0, and you're going to go into the superduo that's next to the one that's exiting. So, and I hope you saw what I did there. So I coming out of the back, so to speak. So if this is the front here, you went out the back, you came out the back towards the front. Now I'm going to pick up another 15-0, rondelle, and then my other 15-0. So now I'm coming out the front, so I'm going to go through this front hole like this. So you're going to be you're going to get a zigzag going here, like this. It's not completely apparent, but you'll see. So pick up a 15, pick up a rondelle, pick up a 15, and come out from the back. And 15, I can't find the hole of my rondelle. Where's the hole? There it is. So 15, rondelle, 15. I'm coming out the front, so I'm just going to go into the back. Towards the back from the front. So this is what your piece is going to be looking like so far. And pick up 15, rondelle, 15, and you're going to go towards the front. So you're coming out the back, so you go towards the front. $15, rondelle, 15. So if you're coming towards the front, and you're going to go to the back. Like so. So I think you guys can see it's got this little wave zigzag going. So keep going. And if I didn't mention this, you wanted to make sure that you counted out 12 crystals, because that's all you're adding is 12 crystals. And then I will show you the next step. Okay, so if you've added all of your crystals on, and this is what your piece will look like. And actually, this is actually a good stopping point if you wanted to stop here and not continue with the rest of it. I think it's actually a really pretty piece, just like this, and will make a really cute pendant. It's too heavy to be an earring because these 12mm pearls are very heavy. So at this point with the superduos and the additional crystals, it's just way too heavy for an earring. And it's got a lot of bling. As you can see, this sparkles really nicely. But to start our next part, what you're going to do is you should be coming out of a superduo. So you need to get to a crystal. So you got to decide on a back first. So it doesn't matter which side you decide is your back, because right now they're identical. But one side is going to be your back and one side is going to be your front. So in this case, I ended up with adding this last crystal. So this crystal is at the front, going into this superduo, and so I'm actually coming out of what I'm calling the back of my piece here. So I'm just going to turn my piece. So here's the superduo that I'm coming out of, and I want to come out of the crystal here. So I'm going to go through the 15-0 and then the crystal. And just like this. I'm going to pick up 5 11-0s, and I'm going to go into this next crystal that's towards the back. So not this one, but the one way over here. See? and you're going to basically go all the way around to all these crystals that are in the back. So you should only have 6 crystals to go through. So pick up 5 of your 11 O's and then go into just the crystal. Like so. Going to do it again. So I'm picking up 5, as you can see, and I'm going into this next crystal. All right, my thread is getting caught. And repeat. So just like that. Five, and one more time. And this is what you're going to get. Is basically a piece that looks like this. And what you're going to do is actually go through them once more, and then I will show you our next step. Alright, so once you reinforce the back, here's what the back looks like, and here's our front. I think it looks really incredible here. And again, you can stop at this point too. I think it looks like a nice little hexagon, 6-sided pendant, and you know, just add a loop around the crystal and you've got yourself a cute looking pendant. However, if you want to keep going, then our next step is you will be coming out of a crystal here in the back, and you want to move to the crystal in the front. So go through a 15-0, superduo, then another 15-0, and our crystal here that's in the front. Just like this. And what you're going to do is grab all your superduos. So I've got a big giant mess because all my beads decided to have a party and they all got together. Okay, so you're going to pick up 5 superduos and go into the next crystal that's in the front. And just like this. And you're just going to do this all the way around. So I've got my 5 superduos, and I'm just going to go into the next crystal here. And keep going until you've gotten all the way around. So just you only have to do this about 4 more times, so that's it. And I will show you what's next. Okay, so if you've added your superduos, then this is what your pendant will look like. And now for the next step, this is going to be a little bit tricky. It's not difficult, it's just can be confusing to explain. But here's my finished prototype. So what I did was, in my group of 5, I took superduos 1, 3, and 5 and set them to the back using seed beads in between. And then 2 and 4 are set to the front where I have a crystal in between. And so what this allowed me to do was create these sort of diagonal points that kind of come out of the piece and gives this really cool three-dimensional look to it. And this is how I managed to do it, is by how I shifted the superduos. And this is what it looks like in the back. And you can see there's just a line and a second row of, or a third row, I guess, of seed beads. And so even in the back, I think it looks really nice and finished. And so in order to achieve this look, you'll have to just, it's really simple to do, just seems really complicated. And that's why it makes the pendant look very complicated, but it's actually not too bad. There's just a lot of steps to it. So at this point, you're coming out of a crystal after you've added everything on. What you're going to do is you're going to go through all of these next 5 superduos. And you might not be able to get them in one swoop, but I just did, so it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so go into the top hole of this last superduo here. And now this superduo is going to be superduo number 1 of this group. And this is superduo number 2, and this is number 4. So I'm going to hold those down, and that'll make it a little easier to go into my next superduo. I'm going to pick up a 15, an 11, and a 15, and I'm going to go into superduo number 3. There we go. Didn't even understand how that got caught. Just like that. And so these superduos are going to be very uncooperative when you first get started. Now you're going to do this again. You're going to pick up a 15, an 11, and a 15, and you're going to go into superduo number 5. And just like this, there you go. So that's what your piece should look like. Now you're going to move into the next group. So there's also going to be a set of seed beads between superduo number 5 over here and superduo number 1 of this next group. And again, this is all going to end up behind the crystal, just like this. And move superduo number 2 forward. And number 3 back. Pick up your 15, 11, 15, and go into number 3 here. And again, 11 or 15, 11, 15. That's what you're picking up. Move number 4 here away, and there's number 5. So this is what your piece should look like. So you've gotten 2 groups done. I'm going to go through this one more time, and then you'll finish up the other half of the pendant. So I've got, again, I'm going to pick up my 15, my 11, and 15. So I'm going to go into superduo number 1 in my next group. Just like that. Now we got 15, 11, 15. We're going to skip number 2 and go into number 3 here. And again, 15, an 11, and a 15. there's number 4, and I'm going to skip that one, push it forward, and go into number 5. So keep the tension tight as you work, because otherwise you won't be able to get the get that angling effect. So here's the last one I'm going to show you. So I picked up my 15, 11, 15, and I'm going to go into superduo number 1 of my 4th group here. So this is what the work looks like, and there's just 3 more groups. And so go ahead and continue with this, and then I'll show you how to add the crystals to the front part. And there's only 2 more steps left, adding the crystals and then adding 1 more little bit of reinforcement, and the pendant will be done. Okay, fellow beaders, so here is the piece once you've added all of the seed beads between the superduos. And you can go ahead and reinforce this and go through all the beads again to reinforce, basically. All right, so in this next part, what you're going to do is you're going to be coming out of a superduo here, so most likely one that's right here by the crystal. So I'm coming out of this one, and what I'm going to do is go into the other hole and then through the crystal here of the superduo. Now I'm going to go into this next superduo and come out just like that. Now here I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s and I'm going to enter the top hole of these superduos. Then pick up my crystal and go into this next superduo. So this is what your piece should look like from the front, and just like that. Now you're going to pick up 2 more 15-0s, and you have to go down into this superduo here. Alright, I'm at a bad angle here. Let me try that again. So you got your 15-0s, you're coming out of this superduo, and you just want to go into the superduo here and the crystal attached to the superduo. So this is what your piece is going to look like. And what you got to do now is make your way. You got to go through this next superduo, and then you got to do the same thing again. I'm going to pick up 2 15-0s, and I'm going up into the top hole of this superduo. And then you put the crystal in between this next piece. And so I picked up my crystal, and I'm just going to go in to this next piece, or next superduo rather, not piece. Just like this. And then you pick up your 15-0s, 2 of them, and go down into the next superduo. That, go through this crystal and superduo. Pick up 2 15-0s. Go through the superduos, the top hole. Pick up your crystal. Go into the next superduo. Pick up 2 15-0s. Go down into the superduo and the crystal. just like that. Go through this next superduo. Okay, so far here's what your piece looks like. So it's coming into shape exactly how I made the other one. So I'm gonna have you continue and keep adding the superduos, and once you finish up and you're coming out of this last of your superduos, I'll show you one last step that we need to take, and that should be it. I'm getting ready to add my last two 15-0s, so I'm coming out of this superduo and I'm just going to go into this next superduo and just want to come out of the superduo, but oh, there we go. Crystal is blocking me there. Okay, so here's my piece all complete, and I think it looks great. Now we have one last step to do. So let me show you in the back here. So let's flip over. And what I did was I added one last piece of reinforcement because I thought this was a little bit too loose. I mean, you can skip this step if you think it's firm enough. I personally didn't feel like it was firm enough for me. So I basically added some seed beads here and kind of brought this superduo and this rondelle close together. And I just went and added seed beads here, went through, and then added them on the other side. So what you're going to do is do kind of the same thing, or we are going to do the same thing, not kind of the same thing. And so we're going to do it here on the working piece here. And so that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so you're coming out of this superduo, and we're just going to switch directions and go down into that second hole of that superduo. And then I'm going to go through several of these seed beads, if I can, right here. So I've gone through all three of those. Now I'm going to pick up my 15, 11, 15 combination here, just like I've been doing. And I'm going to go into the crystal. Just the crystal, nothing else down here. Or the rondelle there. And that brings it all nice and close together. And then you're going to pick up another set of 15, 11, 15. And you are going to go through these seed beads right here. So, and I'm having a little difficulty finding just the right angle, but there, I did. And that's all you got to do is just go through those 3 seed beads and the superduo. And just like that, and there's our first group. So now to get to the next group, we got to go through these seed beads, the superduo, and this set of seed beads. Go through as many of these as you can. So I think I got them all. Pick up 15, 11, 15, and then you go through that crystal, just the crystal. And just pull it tight. And these beads will just they'll fall into place. So there's enough of it in this gap here that we have between this row and this row. And now pick up again the 11, 15, or 15, 11, 15, and you're going to go up and go through these seed beads here. And so this looks a little bit awkward, partially because it's the angle, and I'm doing this in front of the camera and trying to stay within the frame. So you won't find it this awkward for you. So I went through quite a few of the seed beads. I went through all of these seed beads, the superduo, the seed beads, and then I got 2 more here to go through. And I'm going to do it again, a 15, 11, 15, and into the crystal I go. Pop the beads in place, pick up another set of 15, 11, 15, and we go through all of our beads here. And I'm just trying to get through as many as I can. So, got through quite a few of them. Okay, so I've set up to add the next set. So we'll just go ahead and finish that up. There's 3 more to do. And then we're just going to tie off. And tying off is really easy. We're just going to make some half-hitch knots here and just kind of push them through the circle, crystal rather. So keep going, and we are almost done. Okay, I'm just at my last step. I just got to add my last set of 3 seed beads here. And there we go. I went ahead and added those. Give that a good tug, and I'm just going to make my way over to, I'm going to go through the superduo here and a couple more of these seed beads. Like that. And so I want to actually get down into this crystal here to start making knots. So gotta get through this superduo. All right, so I got through the superduo, the 15, 11, 15. I'm just gonna go down these beads here. And now I can go ahead and make a knot around the thread here. So I'll make my half hitch. And go through the crystal and my 11 O's here. Then the other 2 11 O's that are left here. And now we make another half hitch knot. And go through all the beads. And I'm just going to make one last one. So I did 2, I'm going to make 3. Go through this crystal and then just work through some more of these beads. And I'm coming out of this crystal, so I'm going to go ahead and trim my thread. And it is done. There you are. Here is our very lovely pendant. So this is just part 1. In part 2, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to show you how to attach this to a spiral rope. So I will upload part 2 the next day. So this should be, and so here's our original piece. I actually like the colors better. They're actually the same set of superduos, but for some reason I got almost all the golden red ones here and the orange ones more in here, so I just like the blend better than over here where I ended up with more of the darker gray and greens. But either way, they both look good. And it's got just really nice amount of bling. And here's the back. And they're identical. So anyway, I hope you guys like this tutorial. And stay tuned for part 2.